Apple may be about to do something it has refused to do for nearly a decade. Not launch another iPhone. Not launch another Pro model. But completely reinvent what an iPhone is. For years, Samsung, Google, Huawei, and Honor have been racing to build the perfect foldable phone. Apple, they sat back, watched, waited, and quietly studied every mistake. Now, according to multiple leaks, supply chain reports, and industry insiders, Apple is finally preparing its answer. A device some are already calling the Apple Fold Ultra. And if these reports are even remotely accurate, this will not just be Apple's first foldable. It could become the most important smartphone launch of the decade. A nearly invisible crease, a futuristic liquid metal hinge, a massive tablet-sized display, a shocking return of Touch ID, and a price tag that might make your bank account file a complaint. The question is not whether Apple is making a foldable anymore. The question is, did Apple just figure out how to beat everyone else on its first attempt? Let's break down everything we know so far. Because if this thing is real, the smartphone industry is about to change again. First, let's talk about the design. Because according to current leaks, Apple's foldable might not even look like what most people expect. Instead of a flip phone that folds into a tiny square, Apple is reportedly going with a book-style design. Think less Galaxy Z Flip, more Galaxy Fold. When closed, it behaves like a traditional iPhone. Open it up and suddenly you are holding something much closer to an iPad mini. Reports suggest an internal display measuring around 7.8 inches. That is a huge jump in screen real estate without forcing users to carry a tablet. It is basically two devices pretending to be one. And while that sounds impressive, the real challenge is not making a screen that folds. It is making one that does not remind you it folds every time you look at it. And that is where things get dangerous for Samsung. For years, every foldable phone has had the same unavoidable compromise. The crease. That line running down the center of the display. You can reduce it, hide it, ignore it, but it is always there. According to multiple reports, Apple refused to enter the foldable market until it could significantly improve this problem. Leaks suggest the Fold Ultra could feature a crease that is nearly invisible when fully open. Not slightly better, not somewhat reduced, nearly invisible. If Apple pulls this off, it would instantly eliminate the biggest criticism foldables have faced since day one. And achieving that required rethinking the most important component inside any foldable phone. The hinge. Because solving the crease means solving the mechanism behind it. An Apple solution sounds straight out of science fiction. According to supply chain reports, Apple is developing a new hinge system built around liquid metal technology. No, not the Terminator version. Although that would definitely make durability testing more entertaining. Liquid metal is known for exceptional strength, flexibility, and resistance to wear. Exactly the qualities a foldable phone needs. Remember, every single time a foldable opens and closes, stress is placed on the hinge. Thousands of folds. Tens of thousands. Eventually, weaknesses start to appear. Apple reportedly spent years perfecting this system because the company knows one thing. If the hinge fails, the entire product fails. Interestingly, leaks also suggest Apple encountered durability challenges during testing. Repeated folding cycles reportedly exposed weaknesses that engineers had to address. The good news. Sources say those issues are not expected to delay launch plans. And once you hear what is powering this thing, you will understand why Apple is pushing so hard to get it finished. Inside the Fold Ultra could be Apple's upcoming A20 chip. Built using TSMC's cutting-edge 2-nanometer manufacturing process. Now if that sounds incredibly small, that is because it is. We are talking about engineering at a scale that is almost impossible to comprehend. Smaller transistors generally mean better efficiency, stronger performance, and improved battery life. Translation. More power. Less heat. Longer endurance. Exactly what a foldable device needs. But fitting all of this technology into an ultra-thin folding body may have forced Apple into a surprising decision. According to reports, Face ID might be gone. Instead, Apple could bring back Touch ID through a fingerprint scanner built directly into the side power button. And honestly, a lot of iPhone users might celebrate that change. But if you think that is surprising, wait until you hear what Apple may be doing with the cameras. The camera setup could be one of the most futuristic parts of the entire device. Leaks suggest the external display will feature a traditional punch-hole selfie camera. Nothing too unusual there. The magic happens when you open the phone. Reports indicate Apple may use an under-display camera hidden beneath the internal screen. Meaning no notch, no dynamic island, no visible camera cutout interrupting your content. Just one uninterrupted display. If true, Apple could also be using an advanced high-resolution sensor that pushes under-display camera technology further than we have seen before. Meanwhile, the rear camera system is expected to include a 48-megapixel main camera and a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera. Not the biggest camera array Apple has ever built, but likely more than enough to satisfy most users. Of course, all of this cutting-edge technology creates one unavoidable problem: the price. And this next number might make your wallet nervous. Industry analysts believe Apple's first foldable iPhone could cost more than $2,000. Let that sink in for a second. More than $2,000. At that price, the Fold Ultra would not just be Apple's most expensive iPhone ever. It would become one of the most expensive mainstream smartphones on the market. But here is what makes this interesting. Apple has never been obsessed with being first. Apple's real strength is making emerging technology feel mainstream. The company did it with smartphones. It did it with smartwatches. It did it with tablets. And now it may be preparing to do the same thing with foldables. So maybe the Apple Fold Ultra is not just another premium gadget. Maybe it is the moment foldable phones finally become a serious category. Or maybe it is Apple's most expensive experiment ever. We are going to find out soon enough. So what do you think? Will the Apple Fold Ultra dominate the foldable market? Or become Apple's biggest smartphone gamble yet? Drop your prediction in the comments. And if you want the biggest tech launches, industry shifts, billion-dollar innovations, and future-defining gadgets explained before they become mainstream, subscribe to Finance EdTech. Because by the time the headlines catch up, we will already be talking about what is next.